Hello, this is Chelsea Joy, and this is going to be your 45-minute yin practice for Mandala Tree today. Now, we are going to do a class which is a little bit mixed today, so we're going to be working on different things, but I just want to make sure that you have a pillow or a bolster close by, and that's all we'll be needing today. So we're going to start off in something called fire toes, which can be amazing, but it can also feel very intense. So what that is tucking the toes down. We can either have the knees apart or together, whatever feels nice to create a firmer foundation. Maybe a little bit apart is good to start. And we're just going to bring our body, so bring our hips down, resting on top of the heels. Now, if this feels too intense at the moment, then just remember to be gentle. You can always ease off. But we just want to start by seeing where our edge is at the moment. So seeing how this feels. And feel free to rock back and forth a couple times. Just making sure that you're not causing any sharp pain. It's just more about having a nice, gentle stretch in the feet. Now, if you have arthritis, this might hurt quite a lot. So if that's the case, I would say just doing a little bit of a gentle fire toes, meaning keeping the hips off of the heels. But if it's okay, just staying down and rocking side to side very gently, very slowly. And just taking a couple deep breaths in. And just maybe rocking your hips a bit more, just a bit of a wider rock side to side. And just embracing the hands just right behind your back here, right at your sit bones. And just make sure that when we bring the hands back to stretch open our chest, that it's actually pulling your shoulders back as well. So you just want this beautiful chest opener, and feel free to close the eyes and just rock the hips side to side. We won't be here for too long. We're just going to take a few breaths in and out. If you need to adjust, that's completely fine. Beautiful. And just letting go of the hands now, and just placing the hands onto the mat, and we're just going to make sure that our knees are about hip width distance, and we're just going to rock back and forth again. So I just want us to bring this nice gentle rocking motion into this practice today. I just want you to see how your hips feel. So where are your hips at today? Are they feeling a little bit closed or stiff? Or maybe they're feeling open. Maybe you've been doing a lot of yoga and stretching. It's almost the energy of bringing your shoulder to one side of your hip and then bringing the other shoulder to the other hip. So just want to see how that feels today. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we're going to just do some gentle cat-cows in our own time. So I like to start arching the back upward towards the sky. So we're just going to start with a normal breath and just gently curling the back up, breathing out as much as you can, really pressing the hands into the mat. Slowly curling the back the opposite way, arching it just like a cow with a sway back. Breathing in, pressing the hands out towards the mat. Breathing out, arching the spine, really pressing out towards the mat, creating space in your spine. And just really pressing again, looking up towards the sky. Slowly. And And in your own time, let's just do this a few times. When you're ready now, just bring the hips all the way down to the heels. And we're just going to stretch out our hands as much as we can, creating a lot of length from your fingertips all the way down to the base of your spine. Pressing the third eye into the mat. Creating a long line of energy all the way down the arms into the back. Let's take 3 big breaths here. And slowly, keeping the torso as it is, we're going to walk the hands all the way over to the right side. So we just want to make sure that we're creating a lovely stretch in our left spine. So the whole left side of our body, opening up space in the left side of our rib cage. We want to feel this just gently arching the spine to the right, nothing crazy. But let's just place our left hand on top of our right hand. And just gently, just allow the head to rest onto the mat. Let's take a few deep breaths in and out here. Now, just when you're ready, moving the hands back to center. Again, just bringing the hands out as much as you can, stretching your entire torso, and bringing the tailbone all the way towards the feet. When you're ready, doing the same on the other side, so just keeping the torso where it is, walking the hands over to the left side now, placing the right hand on top of the left. This is going to help you create a lovely stretch through the right side of your body. And just taking a few deep breaths here, very slowly and controlled. Beautiful. Walking the hands back to center. Slowly bringing the hands all the way back up and bringing the body all the way back up. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come onto our sit bones. So just sitting in, actually actually. We're going to sit in a butterfly position. So we're going to bring the pads of our feet together. Actually, in butterfly, I like to sit up against something. So if you do have a wall, you can just bring your back up against the wall. If not, that's completely fine as well. But it's just quite nice to be up against a wall for posture, because you can straighten your back, and then from there you can adjust the foundations as well. So just bringing your hands to surround your feet, and when you're ready, we're just going to hook, I like to say hook, the elbows around the outside of our calves, and taking a big breath in to start, and exhaling all the way down. So just rounding that back and just allowing your whole torso to marinate over the legs and over the feet. Let's take some deep breaths into the belly. Let's do inhales to the count of 4, 5. Slowly exhaling. Maybe at this moment you're feeling some tension held in the hips, possibly in the groin. Maybe it's in the outsides of the hips, down the legs or thighs. In any case, I just want us to imagine that with the breath, with the exhale specifically, we're just allowing and creating space for that tension to dissipate. Take 2 more big breaths in. So let's take huge ones into the belly, expanding the belly outward. And slowly coming all the way back up to center, bringing the torso back up. And we're going to keep the feet as they are, and we're going to just place the hands on top of our knees. And just really gently, I want us to imagine that when we breathe in, we're bringing our chest towards the sky, and as we breathe out, we're arching our back towards the back of the room or towards the wall that you're up against. Do that a few times, and when you breathe out, it's almost like this lovely collapsing in a way, and opening. And when we do this, we want our shoulders to open as well, really rounding the back. And bringing the head all the way back. Lovely. Now we'll come onto our knees. So just coming back onto our knees now. We are going to come into melting heart posture. So melting heart is one of my favorite postures to do, because it's just such a simple way to open up our shoulders and our heart space. So first thing is we want our knees on the ground to be about hip width distance apart from each other. And we just want our thighs to be as vertical as possible. So you don't want them to be, you don't want to be kind of like in a child's pose doing melting heart. You want your thighs to be quite vertical. And we're going to start with our hands at the top of the mat, or just out in front of you, wherever they are. And we're going to bring our forearms down to start. And then we're going to bring our third eye down onto the mat. Now, like me, you might need to adjust and bring your knees back a little bit, because the goal of this is to get our heart space to be almost pressing down into the mat. Now, if you don't have this range at the moment, that's completely fine. Don't worry. But wherever we're at, we almost just want to imagine that our whole heart space is literally melting towards the mat, towards the ground. Feel free to bring your toes into those fire toes we did earlier, if you'd like. Or you can keep them flat, whatever feels nice. You can also rest your head to one side or the other if you'd rather not have your third eye down. But we're going to take a few deep breaths into the belly. Just allow your breathing to come back to normal. And if you feel any tension that's just being held right now in the shoulders, just encourage you to let it marinate, let it melt away. Now, if you have your head on the mat on one side, feel free to swap it to the other side. Just going to take 2 more big breaths here into the belly, all the way out. Tucking the toes if they're not already. And now we're just going to bring our hands back towards us, widen the knees as much as possible, and we're going to come down into child's pose. Now, we want the knees to be really, really wide, so I'm going to widen mine more as well. Coming all the way down, and again, we're going to stretch out our arms, similar to how we did in Melting Heart. Really stretch them towards the front of the room, while bringing the tailbone back towards the heels. Feel free to rest your head to one side. I'm going to stay here for a couple minutes. So let's just start by taking a couple deep breaths into the belly, really deep breaths, expanding the belly open. Just allowing the breath to come back to normal. when you're ready. Slowly bringing the hands all the way back, walking them back. All right, and then when you're ready, I'll do it this way. So we're going to keep the knees quite wide. Now, if you'd like, you can bring your toes to touch underneath you, your big toes to touch, I should say. Or you can keep them apart. So whatever feels good, and wherever it depends on how our hips are naturally situated, if that's going to feel okay or not. So if it doesn't feel okay, that's fine, and you can detach the toes from underneath you. Now we're going to grab the bolsters or the pillows. Make sure it's quite thick. So we want to make sure that the pillows that we have are about bolster height, really. And we're just going to place them behind us, so behind where our feet are, just behind us. Now, this one is going to feel quite different depending on your level of flexibility today. So if you'd like, this is kind of a saddle type pose. It's a bit of an alteration on saddle, because we want the legs to be kind of coming into a V rather than the legs being perfectly perpendicular. I think that's the word. Parallel, definitely. So what I like to do first is I like to grab onto the back of the pillow or to the sides of the pillow and just really gently bring myself back like this. And the pillows are going to allow our back to create a lovely arch. And ideally your head can just hang off the back. Now if you have an actual bolster you're doing this with, your head might not be hanging, but your head might just be resting on the bolster, which is completely fine as well. Now step 2, you can either bring your hands all the way up overhead, or you can keep your hands on top of your feet. Whatever feels nice today. But wherever we're at today, just want to imagine that we're bringing the breath into the hips and the tummy. So we're expanding the tummy outward. And at this point, if we feel we're holding on to any tension within our bellies, just soften. See where you can soften in this pose. If you're holding on to tension through the arms, I encourage you just to relax it. Finally, if there's tension being held in the neck, just see where in the neck that's being held and just release it. And we're going to be here for another couple minutes. So just see where in your body you can take the breath to relax a little bit more into this. Remembering that on the inhale, we want to expand the belly outward. And on the exhale, slowly releasing the belly back towards the spine. All right, and then when you're ready, slowly, very slowly, bring the torso back up and very gently bringing the knees together and just moving the cushions to the side so that they're within access. All right, now, I'll just switch. So we're gonna come onto our backs now. And just make sure you have the bolsters close by. And we're just going to bring the knees up towards the chest, but we're going to hug our arms underneath the knees. So hugging the arms underneath, having the knees together. And then just gently we're going to rock back and forth. So when we do this, just imagine that when you inhale, you are just pressing, so you're pressing your stomach against the knees, and when you exhale, you're bringing those knees in closer to your tummy. And when we rock side to side, it's almost like we're giving ourselves a little bit of an internal massage. So just thinking of it like that. So really we want to relax the belly as much as possible when we do this. Closing down the eyes if you'd like. All right. And then just if you have the range, grabbing onto the toes. If you don't, you can grab onto the outsides of your calves, wherever you're at today. And you can bend the knees as well if that feels nice. I'm actually going to do that today. It feels quite good today. We're again going to just rock side to side a couple times. Side to side. Just a couple times. And then when you're ready, just making your way into happy baby. So happy baby, you can either grab onto the outsides of your, the blades of your foot, or you can keep holding on to the toes. In any case, we're going to keep rocking side to side. Side to side. So idea of happy baby is to bring the knee into our armpit as much as possible. And if you feel you're holding on to tension and through the thighs, I just encourage the letting go of that tension. Really gently. All right, now bringing the pads of the feet together. And just allow now the shoulders to relax. And bring those feet together as again we rock side to side yet again. So these are all really good for our adductor muscles, which are our groin muscles. And if we're doing it in a way that's not holding on to tension, then this will be really nice for just a gentle stretch through the groin, through the adductors. And just imagine that you're letting go. So if you're holding on to tension, you're going to feel it. And then just imagine that when you let go of the tension, you're allowed to open your butterfly wings, which are your legs at the moment. So we're opening up the butterfly wings. And feel free to close the eyes if they're not closed already. And again, just rocking side to side a couple times. Excellent. And then bringing the feet, pads of the feet to the ground and walking your feet up as close as you can towards your bum. All right. And now when we're ready, we're going to press the hands in. So we're going to have the hands just by our sides and then pressing the hands into the ground, pressing the elbows into the ground. We're going to slowly start to make our way. So allow our hips what am I trying to say? We're going to have our hips make their way up towards the sky. And just see how this feels for a moment. Take a deep breath in. Slowly. And all the way up. I'm going to do this to our breath a few times. And when we reach the top, I want us to really engage our glutes as much as possible. And when we roll back down, imagine that you're really rolling your spine all the way to the mat. So it's not like a bam, it's like a rolling, like a wave almost. Rolling down. And breathing in, bring that tummy all the way towards the sky, really pressing out. And rolling down. Let's do this 3 more times. Holding the glutes and rolling down once more. Bringing the hips to the sky, glutes, and rolling back down. Lovely. All right. So now we're going to bring both of our legs up. So knees up, legs perfectly, well not perfectly, but just as parallel to the ground as you can get them. We're going to place our our left hand on the outside of our right knee and just bring both of your legs all the way over. So we're just creating this L shape. Bring both of your shoulders down towards the ground and just adjust in whatever way feels nice. You can even turn your head over to the right side, giving yourself a full kind of a twisty stretch from the midsection of your torso. A few deep breaths into the belly, expanding the belly outward. And letting it go. If you'd like a little bit of a bigger stretch, you can move your knees upward towards your shoulder. And then make sure that you're really twisting into this, pressing both of your shoulders into the mat. I love to imagine that when we're in these twists, we are literally wringing out all of the stuff that we've taken on from our day. And we're letting go of any of that excess energy that we don't need anymore. It's quite special, actually. And the trick is, in twists, to actually wring it out and meanwhile breathing into it. So often we want to hold our breath in twists. We want to just breathe into it. Now when you're ready, slowly bringing both of your knees back up to center. Slowly, slowly. And we're just going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to move over a little bit. And we're just going to make sure that our knees and our legs are in that lovely L. Bringing the right hand over on the outside of our left knee. Bring both of the knees all the way over. Now just adjust so that you make sure that your left shoulder is down on the ground and your right shoulder as well. Feel free to look over your left shoulder as well. And we're just going to take a few breaths in to recalibrate. Big breath into the belly. Imagine you're just melting with every exhale. Now, if you feel like you could use a bigger stretch or a bigger twist, you can bring your knees up closer to the right shoulder and then make sure that you're really pressing those shoulders into the mat and you're really twisting into this. So just almost imagining that everything from your upper ribs upward is really pressing into the ground, giving yourself this lovely twist. Take a few deep breaths into this. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Take a few more breaths in and out here. Deep breath into the belly. Expanding the belly. And slowly, slowly allowing our knees to come back to center and bringing the feet back down to the mat. Now feel free to grab onto your bolster or pillow and just put this right under your knees. This feels so nice. And just bringing the feet all the way down. Now that's not quite thick enough, so I'm going to double it up. Double it up. Wow. All the way down. We work with what we have. All right, and just coming into our final Shavasana. Big breath in into the tummy and all the way out. Let's do 3 more breaths like that. And I even sometimes like to place my hands on my tummy to feel the breath expanding and contracting. And relaxing the shoulders completely. Relaxing the hips. So just imagine those hips are sinking comfortably into the ground. And the glutes completely relaxed and heavy. All the way down to the feet. Imagine your feet are nice and heavy, just melting into the mat. And now softening the eyebrows, softening the space around your eyes. Softening the cheeks, softening the jaw, softening the chin, and taking one last breath in this beautiful Shavasana. Big breath into the belly, your biggest one yet, and holding at the top. And very, very slowly, we're just gonna push the posters away and just roll to one side, your left or your right. And slowly, slowly, just start to make your way all the way back up to a seated position. And just a couple last times, placing the hands on the knees, slowly, slowly, just bring the shoulders all the way up to the ears and all the way down. A couple times. And finally, just bring the shoulders. So imagine the shoulders are really pressing down towards the ground, elongating the neck. Let's take one final breath like this. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Placing the hands to prayer in front of us. And I want to say thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. Namaste. Namaste.